you really got my heart beating up in my brain like I'ma give you just one night. No, I can't stand to be apart.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Alina from LYRE. We are writers and producers for acts like ITZY, Red Velvet, Kepler, Purple Kiss, and many more. And today I'm going to be showing you how you can write and produce a song like Twice. Now, I'm a really big fan of Twice. We had a confirmed cut with them a long time ago, back in like 2017. And unfortunately, due to some internal things at the label, that song never came out. Sad times, but I'm still trying to create some songs in the style of Twice with the hope that they finally one day will release one of LYRE's songs. Now, this song I'm going to show you is really special because I have co-written the top line with the other two members of LYRE, Elli and Giselle, and our friend Charlotte Wilson at KCON just a few days ago. I'm super excited to talk to you about the process of creating this track and this top line, but before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Output Arcade, who are today's sponsor. LYRE's assistant Rick and I created this track heavily using Arcade, which is one of my favorite plugins. So I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of cool techniques and tips on how you can use Arcade to create the most inspiring and fun beats that you can.
Feeling all of the feels right. You're a part of me. It's our destiny. Zoom, zoom, come with me tonight. Boom, boom, boom. Gotta make it right. You want it bad, you do. I know I got you.
All right, let's dig into this track's production. When Rick and I first worked on this, we weren't sure what kind of style we were gonna go for. It was somewhere between NMIX Twice and New Jeans. So we were looking for samples, something to inspire us to go deeper into this vibe. We were going through all the different samples in Arcade, which, in case you don't know how Arcade works, it has these lines of sounds that are themed to what the sound is. Like, for example, Sazon is a Latin inspired line. This doesn't necessarily mean that the only style of music that this can be used for is Latin music, because there's a lot of versatile samples in here as well, but the overall theme is Latin music. So this makes it really, really easy to just kind of look around and see if something sparks an idea, because that's how I think of Arcade, as like an idea generation engine, something to get you started down a path that you might not have gone down where you just writing stuff on guitar or keyboard. So from what I remember, this sample right here was the very first sample that we found. It's a really fun little synth art that just kind of felt like really fit the style we were going for. And because this doesn't have necessarily a chord progression built into it, we were able to build a bass line underneath it that did have chords. So this was a part we also created with Arcade, but using a bit of a different technique. So the technique you saw us use with the synth art was us going through different samplers on Arcade until we found something that was fun and inspiring for us. So here, we're actually using something called a note kit, which is the easiest way to describe it. It's just like any other MIDI instrument. So you can play any notes that you want in any key, and the sound of this instrument will be applied to what you play. Yeah, we really liked this bass and how it went with this synth line. Just immediately felt like Twice to us, so we were like, okay, we're going in this direction. So one thing to note about this was our jump off point, right? As we got further into the track, especially the chorus part, some things changed, as naturally happens as you develop a track. I want to jump a little bit and show you guys this 808, which has slightly different chords than this bass does in the pre. So it's mostly the same. But if you take a look right here, so it has a variation, and then right here coming up, which is what happens as you start developing things. So don't be afraid to change things up in different sections of your track, especially for anything that has to do with K-pop, not just the Twice style, right? Most K-pop songs will have a lot of musical variation. I think this is why a lot of producers really like K-pop to listen to try to recreate, because it's a musical challenge. But if we head back to the pre-chorus, so this is, I would say, a very classic K-pop pre-chorus. Because as you can tell, it's building things up, it's hyping things up. You know, with this clap especially, or snare, yeah.
You know you really got my heart.
And then it drops into the chorus. So in order to create this type of pre-chorus that hypes things up and builds them up, you really do need a lot of percussion. We have a pretty serious stack here of claps. If you listen, this is what it sounds like. You can see there's several claps being layered. So, and funny enough, the sampler I was showing you guys earlier, Sazon, which is traditionally used for Latin music, we use this for one of the claps in the stack. It's just a nice, really short, kind of bitey little clap. So we liked it and we used it. That's a really fun thing about Arcade, right? Because this comes obviously more than just with that type of clap. It has, you know, guitars, synths, or is that an organ maybe? Every sampler, every sample pack is going to have a lot of different options. So this is really good for where you're just trying to generate ideas. You don't really know what you're looking for. Oh, just something cool. This is where this really comes in. You can find things that you wouldn't have thought of if you were really zeroed in on a specific idea. So this is really great idea creation. There are some other things in this pre, like this, I called a UK build because it kind of makes me think of garage, this type of rhythmic pattern. There's another clap right here. A whole bunch of effects. If you guys watch my channel, you know my color coding is like so strict, and this light blue is always my effects. This effect here, for example. Creepy Sweet. Also from Arcade. And funny enough, this is a sample pack that's a lot more synthy, a lot more, I would say, hardcore sounding than this track. This track is like pretty like light and cute. And if you audition some of the samples, It's this hyper pop, maybe I would say is like an appropriate place for this, but you never know, you know, you can find things in the genres that you didn't think would be appropriate for what you're creating, and that's what makes it even cooler and more elevated, you know, if you're not just sticking to the traditional instruments or effects or whatnot used in the genre, you're actually going outside the box. So now I would love to play you guys the chorus and the post-chorus, because that's the part that has the top line. A lot of things are going on here, so let's listen and let's go through it.
You know you really got my heart beating up in my brain like I'ma give you just one night. Now I can't stand to be apart. Feeling all of the feels right. You're a part of me. It's our destiny. Zoom zoom, come with me tonight. Boom boom boom, gotta make it right. You want a bad dream.
The reason we were thinking New Jeans or an N mix for this track when we just first were kind of getting our footing with it is the beat. This is very much a beat inspired by garage, Jersey club, Baltimore club. If you listen to it soloed, this is a type of genre that's characterized by the amount of percussion, the frequency the kick appears. If you listen to a lot of other genres like R&B or hip hop, for example, you're not gonna have a kick that's like do, not as many hits. To achieve this, as I mentioned, you do need a kick that has a lot of notation. That's the best way I can describe it. There's also a lot of percussion going on. There are these smaller, more sparse percussions going on. They're all from Arcade. Yeah, that verby kind of percussion, that's from this After Hours sampler pack. Really, really fun. I was looking through this more. Like, there's some really cool sound in here. And we've got some open hats. This Warehouse sampler pack is getting a lot of attention in this song. And we've got a tambourine as well. Generally, for this style of percussion, of drum, I would just think busy. It's not a bad thing to be busy. You just have to remember if one of the elements is busy, if it's really prominent, featured, doing a lot, other things need to be a bit more subtle. So for this reason, there's actually not a lot going on instrumentally in this track. It's very subtle. It's pretty much drums, bass, and vocals, and a little bit of synths. We've got this really nice sounding synth pad here. This is from the Honey line, which I love because it's R&B and that's like one of the main genres I personally lean into. I've kept things pretty simple here, but there's a lot of adjustments you can make to these as well. There's very detailed adjustments you can make if you click this tweak button, or there's some parameters you can just easily sort of adjust. This is cool, cassette. Just kind of lo-fi, so it makes it more vinyl sounding. We've got this electronic piano here. Just adding a little bit of rhythm and kind of really going along with the drums. So next I want to show you guys a little bit of this vocal production, but before we get into that, I wanted to share this really awesome offer from Arcade with you guys. Just for LYRE subscribers, Output is offering a deal where you get 50% off of Arcade for the first month that you have it after the 30-day free trial. So you get it for free for 30 days just to try it out, see if you like it, and then you get it discounted for another month after that. So it's pretty cool. It's a great deal. You can use this code on the screen to take advantage of this offer, and it will also be in the description down below. Thank you so much, Output and Arcade, for sponsoring this video. All right, so if you listen to the vocal package here, I've kept things pretty simple.
You know you really got my heart beating up in my brain like I'ma give you just one night. Now I can't stand to be apart.
The reason being that, again, there's a lot of movement going on in the drum package, so I didn't want things to feel chaotic, just fun and upbeat. Another note I want to make about these vocals is this is all me because the only singer I had access to at the time that I was recording this is myself. Nobody else was over, Giselle or Elli. But actually, when we wrote this at our panel at KCON, Elli and Giselle were the singers, the lead singers of this, and I was just singing background vocals.
You know you really got my heart beating up in the things like I'ma get on my tongue right. You know you really got my heart.
So for anybody else that ever finds themselves in this position where perhaps you imagine one type of voice on the song, but you only have yourself, or a singer with a different type of voice, my advice is to lean into the strengths of the singer you do have versus the one you wish you had. Because this line here, for example,
You know you really got my heart.
Elli was really belting this while I'm singing this more in a mixed tone with a lot of air mixed in, because that is more of my strength and her strength is very much the belt. But I wasn't going to try to belt because it doesn't sound as good as when I do it. So I did it in my own style, and this is something I really encourage you guys to try. So I kept the backgrounds very simple on the chorus part. I only emphasized the bits I felt needed to be emphasized, like the heart, the apart. If you notice, one of the subtle things I did, I added an extra harmony to a part just because I wanted it to elevate, so it's a higher harmony. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference in my opinion. There are also some small de-emphasized hooks going on here vocally like this. This is a very Twice thing to do, these kind of background hooks, little vocal candy, if you will. I felt like that fit this vibe more than just stacks of background vocals. That would have been more of a Red Velvet move, I think. Yeah, if you will look here, these are processed quite differently than my main background vocal stack. So this is specifically like this really bright, airy kind of background part, and I'm emphasizing a lot of the high-end frequencies like the 10K here, 2.5K. So, and there's a different reverb here, the Valhalla Shimmer. It's a much brighter reverb than what's going on here. And this is something I really encourage you guys to do, is figuring out how different parts of the vocals will be mixed even before you do them, because I already knew I was gonna process it like this, and I sang it and wrote the parts with that in mind. It really goes hand in hand. So, and all the ideas are the same in the post with the zoom, 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 boom, boom, boom.
Zoom, 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 come with me tonight. Boom, boom, boom.
We're emphasizing the, you know, most hooky parts, zoom, 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 boom, boom, boom. I'm also adding an extra harmony right here.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
It's a higher harmony just to help it grow. And there is also a counter background vocal here. And that is pretty much all I have for you guys today. As always, if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps. And if you'd like to see the video of how the song was written at KCON, I will link that unlisted video in the comment below. The reason it's unlisted, it's a little bit rough. You know, we didn't have proper video and sound recording equipment set up at the panel. So, you know, it is a room sound and the video is captured on a phone. So watch at your own risk, but it is a really, really fun panel. And of course, if you'd like to try out Arcade, the link to get your first month after the free period discounted by 50% is in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.